Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So on a recent video I did around prop firms going bust, I got really thinking about what numbers are actually involved behind the scenes and whether it's a sustainable model. Now, I think we all know that a lot of the large prop firms have been going for many years. They've got it down to a fine art. Now, some of the new ones coming through have different sort of funding packages where they do direct funding as well as challenges. Now, obviously they're working on different income revenue streams to make sure they're a profitable business. But it got me thinking about some of the numbers, especially when they are advertised on Instagram by a lot of the prop firms do their monthly statistics. And some of them do by the year. So I thought I'd have a quick look at a breakdown of some of these and try and sort of analyse the figures and get a real feel for how many people are signing up, how many people are failing, and whether all of the challenge fees are able to pay the actual successful traders. Now let's start with E8 funding. Now they were quite new to the scene, came on board around about October last year, and they posted the end of their 2021 results that they had paid out in excess of $350,000 to their funded traders. Now the good thing with E8 is there's actually no time between when you sign up to when you get the pass. You can literally do it in the same day if you're able to do the percentage for the challenge and verification. You wait 8 days and then get your payout. So they're actually very quick with the automation behind the scenes is getting all of the account details up and running and paying out. So although they only started in October, they probably had a good couple of months to actually get to this figure. Now it also shows they've got over 300 funded traders based on these statistics, and the largest payout was $40,000. Now we work on that assumption that we take off the largest payout, obviously it always skews the figures. We have 300 traders only taking $300,000 in 2 months. So it's basically an average payout per trader of only $1,000, which isn't massive. We all think that all the traders are out there making huge amounts of money. But I think something that is quite apparent is a lot of the traders actually get funded. Some people don't do anything in their accounts. Some people lose their accounts. So on the outset, it looks like everyone's getting massive payouts, but the figures are always skewed by the people who are losing and not trading. So now let's take a quick look at the funded trader program. Now again, the January statistics are out. They paid out a total of $481,000, but most of that was actually to one trader. One single trader took out $120,000 in payouts. Now that in a percentage is 25%, absolutely massive. If you then also make an assumption that, let's say trader number 2 and 3 in the rankings took out another $40,000 or $30,000 each, then 3 traders have taken out 40% of the actual fees from the actual prop firm, which is massive. The payouts to 3 people covering 40% is huge. And again, looking at the other statistics, they claim that 191 traders got funded in that period. So we extrapolate that out. We know that 90% of traders fail or lose money in the markets. So we can make a rough assumption that we had 1,000 people signing up, 20% of people actually got through funding. So potentially there were 800 people who failed. And if you look at the actual fees to pay to do, let's say an average of a $100,000 account at $550, that would roughly equate to the amount of payouts they've made in a particular month. And if, let's say, we exclude their top traders from their payouts, we take out that sort of $190,000 to the top 3 or 4 traders and work on the assumption that, let's say, they had 300 funded traders in that month, based on the fact that we know they're getting 190 new each month. There'll be some who will fall off, there'll be some who will go on and not trade. But if we look at that as a statistic, let's say they had 300 funded traders, again, they're only getting paid out less than $1,000 each per month. So it goes back to my point previously, we all look at the stats, we all see the great returns that some people are making, but on average, most traders who are funded are not making massive amounts of money. So we can start to come to the conclusion that basing a prop firm just on failed fees is actually viable to a certain degree. I don't think it's long-term sustainable, because if you're not getting the throughput of new traders coming in on a monthly basis, then you're not getting the fees coming through. And what you might end up with is just a small portion of very profitable traders who are just literally turning the handle, taking out huge profits each month, and therefore revenue coming in is less than going out, and eventually you go bust. If that's what happened with funding talent, that's probably what I do think happened, and maybe other prop firms we've seen as well, that's just how it happens. So you've got to stay fresh, you've got to keep attracting new people coming through, and again, making it exciting for people to trade. So if we take a look at probably the biggest prop firm out there, or the most reputable, that's FTMO. Now, their figures for 2021 are quite staggering. Now, they paid out $29 million to traders in that particular year. And what's more staggering than that is they created nearly 1 million accounts for traders through whatever platforms. Now, that's obviously not people paying for the actual challenges. That's people going through trials or funded traders where they're actually getting their additional account every month. And if you're going through the challenge retake phase, you're getting all of those accounts created as well as verification accounts. But it's still a huge number of volume of accounts being created, which does show that the actual business is sustainable. It could be potentially you've got 300, 400,000 people paying to do challenges in a year to pay out the actual funded traders. Now, I like to believe that a lot of prop firms have other systems in the back end to actually make revenue from the traders. That's obviously what their whole business is sold on. So I'd like to think that they are backing all of their good traders, especially if they're able to see a long-term sustainable growth with the traders, or they're able to scale their accounts up. That's where I'd like to see them actually backing the traders in the market and making good profits from them as well, not just relying on the people coming in and failing, because as we know, it only takes one small glitch with a reputation, people to start not coming through and paying the fees, and before you know it, the whole model collapses and you're left with a complete mess. But for me, what is interesting when you start looking month on month, a lot of these prop firms, is the actual payout figures don't deviate too much. They're also quite consistent. So for that reason, we can assume that although you've got people coming through as funded, we're getting a significant number of dropping off as well throughout the program. So I do believe that most traders generally will only last 2, 3, 4 months on a funded account. And that's obviously backed up by a few statistics I have seen, but again, very hard to prove these things because people don't want to divulge all of their personal information and all of their finances to everybody. But again, it's just an interesting sort of overview and oversight into the back end and the business model behind the prop firms. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers.